For me, speaking personally, I think U2 was always interested in politics. I think that's where we came from. You know, in 1976, Dublin was, you know, a very different place than it is now. It was in recession. I don't know if it's going to be equitable in the same way, but there was really nothing going on. And for us, when we heard punk music, that was an opportunity for us to do something, to get involved and to be part of a thought process that was about changing your world and changing the ideas in your world. And that is something we've carried through over the last 30 years. And Bono's activism is something that we all support and we all stand behind him. We might be in the studio finishing a record and he's off doing something else, but it's something that he does very much on our behalf as much as his own.
Larry, you wouldn't be into all of Bono's friends.
No, I mean, look, the U2 is built on disagreement. I mean, it's always been like that, and it is a democracy to an extent, and you have to be allowed express your views, and I have to. It's my duty.
So when he says sups with the devil, as you would see it, you know, maybe meeting George W. and Tony Blair.
Well, it's not necessarily that I would. I mean, you have to meet and do deals with people you don't particularly like. That's life. I think it's when they feel that it's basically a friendship, and where it sort of crosses that line between business and pleasure is the difficulty. It's not the fact of having to have supper with the devil, as you say.
Yeah. I mean, I strong stuff. And
no better man.
No. I mean, I think it's fair to say Larry feels would call Eamon Dunphy a war criminal, but Larry's views are something that I really need to hear, and he keeps me on the straight and narrow, and I really appreciate it. I don't agree about Tony Blair. Although we told Tony Blair at the time, we disagreed. It was very clear about it. He knows what the bands, he knows what I felt about it, and George Bush back in those days. But I suppose what I've learned from my job as an activist is a strange thing to say, but the politics is often moved by personal chemistry. It shouldn't be, but it is. It's a strange thing, and you see these meetings and you wonder, how did that happen? And it might have been just because there was a little bit of chemistry. So I do tend to try and I go that extra mile. Sometimes it's very hard for me with my own politics. Yeah. I was against the war in Iraq, but I saw, another side of Blair. He fought for the world's poor, there's, hundreds of thousands, millions lives will have been improved by Tony Blair. Myself and Bob Geldof at those G8 meetings, he just gave us the keys. And just really, we go backstage and jump on, President Putin or whatever it was. And how did you get in here? We didn't say it, but it was Tony Blair. And I can remember, even from an Irish perspective, mad things like, he said, can we have an evening where we don't argue or talk about politics? So I said, yeah. I love that. Why can't things swear? He says, well, my place. That's number 10, right? So Irish rock star goes off to number 10. We're sitting down there. He has a dinner. There's lights are low. And this is great, Tony. Yeah, fantastic. Is there any wine? So we have some wine. We're talking. And we get into religion, Islam. He's an extraordinary intellect. And, we got kind of lost in it there. And I think it got to about midnight. And he said, I've got to go. I've got to make a phone call. Could you let yourself out? And I said, well, okay. And I might have had maybe one more glass of wine than him, but I was going out. And I was trying to let myself out. It was a strange feeling, honestly, and quite a serious feeling in a way, to walk through these rooms, to bump into Lloyd George, who this country, we agreed to, to partition under threat of civil war by Lloyd George. And I'm there, and just had a few drinks, and, you go down, and I got lost. And I was in the basement, wandering around number 10. I thought, how times have changed in a wonderful way. that, you know, an Irishman could be wandering around. Eventually, a Bobby came in and said, "Are you lost, sir?" And sort of brought me out the back. But what a wonderful side of Tony Blair, and I'd like to thank him for that. I don't ever discount what Larry Mullen says. You would be a fool if you did that.
One last thing I've got to ask you. Your lovely wife, Ali, is doing something very brave tomorrow.
Yeah, she is. She is actually jumping off the tallest building in Ireland, which is the Elysian Building in County Cork. She's doing it for the Chernobyl Children's Project. I think it's Chernobyl-International if you want to sponsor her. She's doing this with 50 trainee guards. She hasn't used the stairs at all in the last week. And it was supposed to be the two of us, but she said it would be a very different sponsorship if I was up the top of the tallest building. I think I know what she meant.
All right, look, guys, thank you very much. Edge, for this guitar, I will always treasure it. Thank you very much. And to you, Bono and Larry. And thank you very much for coming in and being with me on my final show. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks a million. Thanks a lot. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you. Bye-bye.